Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I'm so excited to have my next guest. We are connected through a mutual friend, Stephen Melville, so we want to give him a shout out. But I have Adrian here today, and we are actually meeting for the first time on camera. So I'm excited to hear all the things that he is going to share with us regarding insight and wisdom. But before we get into that interview, I want to give Adrian the opportunity to introduce himself.
Well, thank you so much, Lachelle. That was actually a great introduction right there. I'm looking around thinking, like, is she talking about me? I think she is. But yeah, thank you for this moment, this space and time. Hi, everyone. As Lachelle said, I am Adrian Starks. I'm a keynote speaker, also known as a motivational speaker, inspirational speaker, best-selling author, and also the founder of Champion Up, as well as the CCO of Connect Now Business Network. And I'm passionate about working with entrepreneurs, business owners, and individuals who are looking to create some changes in their life. And there's a big thing about change going on right now. And I have this saying, either you can be dragged by it or you can roll with it. And trust me, you don't want to be on the dragging end. So there's a process that I teach behind change and how to go out here and be what I call courageous creators in your life and do some good for yourself and for humanity.
I love that. So, you have your own signature system. That's what I'm assuming because you say keynote. So there are certain processes that you have mastered that allows you to be influential in the lives of others. So talk to us about how you got to this space. What was it that was your transformation that has prompted you the passion to want to serve and help others?
Great question, Lachelle. And it brings me back to when I was a child. I was known as the kid that talked a lot. So I was called a motor mouth. And I remember there would be days when my parents would have people come over and they would say, well, they're here early. Just have Adrian go out there and talk to them. And so I had this knack for talking to people and really making them feel great about themselves. However, as I went through my school, the school systems, that wasn't seen as a positivity. It was seen as a nuisance. And so I was labeled with ADHD going in school. And so for a lot of my years, I was shut out and I became very silent. It wasn't until I became in high school and college where I learned a lot about the process of writing and reading, and more importantly, public speaking. And I found my voice after years of being silenced. And this is nothing wrong against school systems for the people that are watching and listening today. It was during the time that I was growing up. It wasn't considered to be something that was very positive to have a child be outspoken and to question things. So after a while, I opened up and I realized that, wow, I could actually use skills to help benefit people. So I started doing spoken word poetry in areas of Seattle, Washington. I started writing, I started teaching, I started coaching people on how they could become speakers in their lives. And it started, I would say my journey started about 8 years ago. I was working in a medical call center. And I always say this, the call center was actually a calling to the centering of my life. I realized after being there for 8 years, that last 2 years, I had to question, what was I doing there? Why was I continuing to stay in an environment where I loved to help people, but it wasn't my kind of way? So the last 2 years of being in that call center, I developed what I call the exit strategy. I started researching of public speaking, of coaching, of teaching. I started driving from Seattle to Vancouver, British Columbia, that is Canada, every month to take workshops on psychology and personal development. And it was there where I discovered my passion, my true passion for inspiring people on the level of helping them become better individuals overall. And that's where my journey started. It started in the call center.
I love that. Now, so when you say you found your voice, so many people are in that space, but they don't have a name for it. They just think that, it's like somebody who goes in to get the eye doctor to have an exam, and then they realize, oh, you know what? I thought I was seeing everything right. Now I see that I wasn't seeing. So what were some of those things that were happening to let you know that you didn't have your voice?
Wow, great question again. It was waking up every morning knowing that if I went to this place, that if I had a good suggestion about something, it would get shut down. If I really wanted to question a higher authority, I had to go through multiple people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people that allowed me to speak, and there was one person, her name's Michelle. I won't say her last name, but she was a manager there. And she actually was the reason why I stayed there for the amount of time that I did, because she gave me a voice. But it was the other leaders around the situation I didn't have a chance to have my voice. I was pretty much being told what to say, what to do. I didn't like that. And I realized that, people need to hear honesty. They need to hear empathy. They need to hear the realness, is what we say, that 100% real coming from you. And when you
Mm-hmm.
can't do that, whether that's with your friends, your family, your spouse, whomever, you dial back and you say, okay, what is going on here? Why am I not being true to me? And I always talk about being true to yourself, because if you can be true to yourself, you don't have to lie to the world. You don't
Love
have to
that.
lie to people. You be true to, you speak your own language. And I started listening to people like Les Brown. I started watching other people, and I learned a lot from Howard Thurman. He was a great mentor to Dr. Martin King Jr. And he said that there's a time where we all have to sit ourselves down and have a personal self confrontation, a personal civil war within, and ask ourselves, what are our facts? My facts were, I was living a story that wasn't my story. I was in this call center, but that wasn't where I was supposed to be. It was only a journey. So when I realized that,
How come you don't like McDonald's?
I realized I didn't have a voice there, but I realized I had a voice outside the call center, inspiring people, showing people how to change. That's when I began to look at different ways of leading. And that's what I call the exit strategy.
Love that. I mean, I think, this so resonates with me because, I was on this path of living the American dream. That's why I have America's Supermom, because I had to find a way to, mine was, my journey was with depression and 3 hospitalizations related to it. So I had to find a way to weave that part that made me who I am into who I am now in a way that empowered me to share with others. So what was that transition like for you? Because I know I was like getting the grades, doing everything right on this path of getting that career, getting that degree, and then still it just wasn't the life that it was supposed to be. So when did you find that to not be true, and what did that look like breaking away from that story?
Well, that story for me, it started in college. I graduated with a degree in exercise physiology, and I thought that when I got out of college, I would be able to go out into the world and to just help and to make good money doing that. But as I started working odd end jobs in the health industry, and that's what led me into the call center, I hit a rock bottom point. And we all have this rock bottom story, but my rock bottom was I wasn't happy. I would wake up in the morning angry to go to work. I would wake up in the morning, not wanting to be in this place. The door would feel heavy opening it.
Wow.
So, walking in, like opening the door up, it would just feel really heavy. And I realized that this wasn't where I wanted to be. I wanted to be somewhere very different. And I kept fighting that for a while because it was a good paying job. It had benefits, it was stable. And I just decided that it wasn't for me anymore. And I had to leave. And so I took a trip actually to Italy. And when I came, and I was in Italy, where I decided that I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to quit it on this day. So I went to Italy in May of 2018, and I told myself I'm going to quit my job on September 14th of the same year. I came back from Italy, and I told my manager that I'm leaving September 14th. I gave them 6 months notice. Well, it was like 4 months notice. And they said, is there anything we can do to have you stay? And I said, I've run my course here. And then they said, well, there's always a door open for you. And I said, no pun intended here, but I'm going to die outside that door. I'm not coming back in here. So it was just one of those things where I realized that I needed to do. It was what I call courage. Having the courage to make tough decisions. And this is what led me into what I'm doing now, running my own business, speaking in front of audiences, and doing my own podcasting and helping other people. Because if I would have stayed in that call center on the 9th floor, looking out at I-5, the freeway, saying, oh, someday, or I wish someone would help me, I had to get myself in gear. And I had to challenge myself to change. And this is what's important for us to know. If we look at the word challenge, what is inside that word? It's change. The reason why we're challenged so much is because we don't like change. Now, if we're on one end of the spectrum where we're causing a change, then great. But most of our changes come unexpected because that's how we grow. That's how we learn. That's how we identify ourselves in this ever-changing world. And when we can learn to challenge ourselves, to say, I need to get uncomfortable here for me to get comfortable. I need to move out of this position so that I can experience things over here. I was always taught growing up that, if you're looking at someone else's grass and you're wondering why it's greener, it's because they're taking care of their own grass. They don't have an extra advantage. They're taking care of their stuff. So what can you do to take care of yours? So I think as a society and the people watching this, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're working a 9 to 5, you have the ability to consciously create some good changes in your life, whether it's personal, financial, spiritual, however you want to see it. You have that ability to do that.
I love that. Now, so what do you do now to guard that courageous spirit?
Vulnerability. The thing is, I don't resist. What you resist will persist. And I allow myself to feel. And here's the thing, I'm going to say this. A lot of the men that are watching, particularly Black men, we do not know how to share our emotions. We do not know how to be vulnerable. We do not know how to ask for help. We do not know how to lean on our female counterparts, our wives, our girlfriends, fiancés, and friends, because they have strength too. So learning that allowed me to be courageous, because courage is living in the midst of fear. This is what people don't understand. It's not about being fearless, because fear keeps us alive. Because if we didn't fear anything, we'd make some dumb decisions that would take us off this planet. So we have to not be fearless, but fear, space in between, less. And that less comes from us allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, allowing ourselves to feel. I have days where I wake up, Michelle, and I'm not feeling it. I'm like, man, why am I down today? But I have the ability to check that emotion. Okay, Adrian, you feel down today. But why is that? Okay, what's going on here? What do you feel? You feel sad, you feel angry, you feel resentful, you feel mad, you feel disappointed, you feel like you're not getting attention. I sit myself down, as Howard Thurman says, and I have a personal self-confrontation, and I ask myself, what am I feeling? And then I allow myself to say, okay, you're feeling this way. All right. Now, what can we do to move you out of this state? And this is why I believe in the 3-step process of change. One is accepting. You have to accept that you're in a position right now. That's the first step. 2, you have to address it. You have to acknowledge the fact that you've got to deal with this thing that's in front of you. And then 3, you have to embrace the insecurities that come after that, because you're going to feel like you don't want to be in this position. You're going to feel scared. You're going to feel like, oh, why did I even think that? Here's the thing, Ricky. And I would say for me, I am not 100% unstoppable. I am mortal. But I understand that vulnerability that I have allows me to work through my fears, because I'm not resisting what could be supporting me. A lot of people have this problem. We're so busy fighting what we fear most. And reality is, when we're fighting that thing, we're actually losing the battle of what we really need to be focusing on, what's going on inside of ourselves.
I love that. And what came to me while you were talking is feeling is living. Because I remember during that time of depression that I don't remember feeling a lot of stuff. It was like you build a wall to kind of protect you from things. So to be able to feel is to be able to live. So, and then also what we label those feelings, which control our actions. Yes. So you could say you're feeling courage, but somebody else in the same thing could be making light to fear and not doing something. Absolutely. So the feeling is just neutral, but whatever you attach to that feeling is what you have the ability to empower yourself to use that to get to your destination.
Absolutely. You know, it's the saying that where your attention goes, your energy flows. And
Mm-hmm.
this is where we have to really focus on as individuals. I consider us co-collaborators of creation. Whether
Mm-hmm.
whatever title we have, whatever title you want for yourself, at the end of the day, everyone wants a couple of things. We all want to feel like we are important on this planet. We want to feel like we're being seen. We want to feel like we're being heard. And two, we want to contribute. We want to bring something of value to this planet. And that's what the human life is all about. Now, what happens in between those two things is what we call human experiences. These are
Mm-hmm.
the ups and downs. These are the joys, the happiness. This is the insecurities, the fears, the sadness. All these things that allow us to grow and to expand and to show our authentic power out here on the planet. And this is what I believe truly is important for us, and particularly people who are wanting to show up as themselves. You know, Oscar Wilde, the great Victorian writer, he said that, be yourself because everybody else is taken. And I
Mm-hmm.
truly believe that. And Maya Angelou, she said that success is liking yourself and liking how you do things. And so it's this ability to accept not what we are, but accept what we can be. Because what we are right
Mm-hmm.
now is an accumulation of experiences that we had in the past. But people get stuck in a story when they let that past define them. We can hear terms like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is how I've always been, or this is how it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be. And we have to stop that. That particular script
You plug up your
is
computer
causing us
somehow.
to live on the stages of other people's lives. And we have to change that script. You know, we have to change the way we see our things. I was asked by someone a couple months ago about why wasn't I doing things differently than most people. They said, well, you're a black guy, Adrian. You should be angry, upset, furious. You should be using your platform to speak out and to yell at people. And I said, no, 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 no. I'm using my platform to inspire people, to show people that we can come together and we can talk about things. We can straighten some things out. We can do things on a different level. So that ability to be able to step out and be different and to still exercise that power, it's so important for us as individuals. And I think that we need to learn that we have the ability to not change the whole world, but we can change our world. Our world is what you and I choose to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I say choose because here's the thing, like you mentioned before the show, you can have two people looking at the ocean a different way.
Mm-hmm.
One person say, oh, I remember this place. This is a great vacation I had last year here, and I'm glad to be back. Another person can say, oh, I remember this ocean. This was where I actually I fell down and broke my arm. I don't like this place anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That person has chosen to hold on to that story of not liking the place because this happened. We have
Mm-hmm.
to let go of our stories of what happened to us and allow ourselves to move and say, okay, now what do I want to happen for me? How do I allow this door to open? And this is where change making becomes powerful. This is why I love talking about it. It's not just say, oh, I need to change. It's, do you really understand the power of changing things in your life? It's
Mm.
absolutely phenomenal.
That's awesome. So, what book would you recommend for somebody who's watching? I know one of my favorites that really was a game changer for me was The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. But what book do you think that really, if you could sum it up, might be a good place for somebody to start?
I'm laughing because I was just going to say that book. Get out of my head. Oh no, get out of my head. Um, that's a great book. Also, there's a book by Earl Nightingale called The Strangest Secret.
Mm.
Very thin book. I'm not going to tell you guys what The Strangest Secret is because that's for you to find out. But when you read it, you're going to be like, what? How did I not
Haven't
know
read
this?
that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to read that one.
That book changed my life. When I read that book years ago, and I still read it once a month to remind myself
Mm-hmm.
of the strangest secret in the world. Because it's that
Mm-hmm.
secret that and here's the funny thing, it's not the reason why it's strange is because people should know it.
Right.
People
Yeah,
should
I
know
get
it, but
that.
they don't.
Mm-hmm. So, what are some things that you do in your routine that help you to stay grounded? Because I just know for me, there's some things like, I don't watch the news anymore. I limit other things coming in, and I just have to consciously protect my voice and my state of mind. But that's just something for me. But what are some things that you do in your routine that help guard you and keep you in a place to where you can always be ready for change?
Well, I do some crazy things. So I have a morning routine that I do where every morning when I get up, when I get out of bed, I have a gratitude. So I put my feet on the ground. And I say, thank you for allowing me to be on this planet for another year. Thank you for letting me be on this
Mhm.
planet for another day. So I have a sense of gratitude first thing in the morning to let myself know that it is not easy waking up. This was a choice.
Mhm.
This was, but I usually get into a state of I take a couple steps and I start doing push-ups. I do about 25 push-ups in the morning, 20 squats in the morning, and I go and run and take a cold shower. Now, this is extreme because what I'm doing is
Mhm.
putting myself into a state of discomfort right away to show myself that, you know what, if you want this day, you're going to have to start to stay off being uncomfortable. And when I start my day off that way, I realize that whatever comes at me in that morning, my body's already in the initial state of shock. It's already received that. So it's like, okay, if someone tells me something bad or something I didn't want to hear, then I'm like, okay, I can handle this. And
Mhm.
one thing I do daily too is exercise. So with the degree that I have, I blended that into what I teach. You see, our bodies are designed to take on stress. And exercise is a great way to put your body into a stress state. I'm not saying you got to go to the gym because you can't even do that right now with COVID. Amen.
Mhm.
I'm not saying you have
Mhm.
to go and lift weights and be this kind of person. What I'm saying is that to go on a walk, to go on a short run, to do some things around the house that are, moving your arms, this automatically puts your body into a state where it learns to adapt. It
Mm.
learns to recalibrate, rebalance itself. Because when you're moving and exercising, your blood pressure is shifting up and down, your heart rate's going up and down, your body's heating up.
Mhm.
So all this is causing your body to learn to adapt to stress. And that's something you can do every day is move your body. Also,
Mhm.
don't watch the news before you go to bed. Don't watch the
Mhm.
news first thing in the morning. Because what's
Mhm.
happening to you is you're getting information that you cannot resolve, that puts you into a state of
Mm.
fear. It puts you into a state of restriction. So now you're walking around with this information inside of you that's been preset, and you're operating from it and you don't even know it.
Wow.
I'm not saying
I
that you
love
have to,
that.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not
That I
saying
mean
that,
that
yeah.
that was a game changer for me. I mean, it was just inner knowing. I just
Yeah.
said, I'm done with the news. I really don't even watch TV. I mean, that's how serious I am about it. But it was just, I don't know, it's the inner voice that just said, this is crazy. But this has just been a great interview. I'm like, man, this is very insightful. So
Thank you.
I was going to ask something about the stress that you were saying for your body, but I'm trying to think what the question was. Um, is it good to practice affirmations or something doing this exercise? I don't know. I just,
Yes. That's a
okay.
good question. Yeah, before we get into
Mm-hmm.
that answer, let me just identify there's two types of stress. There's acute
Okay.
stress and there's chronic stress. Now, the problem with a lot of us around the world today is we're experiencing chronic stress. So, how this works is that acute stress is very simple. You walk outside, the weather is cold. You walk outside, the weather's hot. Your body is going through stress right away because it's in a different
Mm.
environment. So,
Mm-hmm.
biologically, we are wired to have stress. It's okay. We get in trouble when we have stress that doesn't go away. So years ago, before social media and the news were around, this is when we were outside and we were living outside. If there was some kind of danger, an animal or a bear or something coming around, we would automatically go into this fight and flight mode to
Mm-hmm.
freeze. But what would happen is eventually that external threat would go away. But now what's going on is that we're experiencing this prolonged stress. And this stress is called the internet. It's called social media comments, people wanting to get so many likes, etc. It's called the people trying to control what we can say and do as far as our opinions. When it's constant stress of trying to feel connected or trying to figure out what's going on all the time. And this will cause you to have headaches, frustrations, irritations, lack of sleep. And you guys let us know if you're feeling any of these symptoms. You're going to feel less patient with people. People get on your nerves more. You're going to feel like if they say this one thing to me one more time, I'm going to go off. That's stress because we're trying to find a way to battle the external. So I would say that if you want to help your stress levels, avoid social media when it comes to negativity. Don't get into battles with people on social media, keyboard battles. Say your piece and be done with it. And don't watch so much news. There's only so much negativity your brain can take before it decides that it needs to get away from you.
I love that.
We have to be careful with that. So what we can do to combat negativity is to give positivity. And that is gratitude. Gratitude is a new attitude. It's like a magnet that attracts things that are good to you. So we have to every day ask ourselves, what are a few things that I can be grateful for today? And if you don't know what that is, then you're not paying close enough attention to yourself. Be grateful for sound. If you can hear something, be grateful that you have sight. You can hear, you can feel, you have family around, you got a roof over your heads, you got internet so you can actually touch base with people. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for your health. There's so many people who have fallen because of COVID and other things. Be grateful for the fact that you can make decisions on your own. So we have to start our day off with gratitude. That's the first thing. And then affirmation wise, you have to tell yourself that you're good enough. Look in the mirror at yourself in the morning. People don't do this anymore. They walk past the mirror, but they don't look into it. Stop. It doesn't matter if you got the morning face. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's behind that face. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror to the point where you can see your reflection in your eyeballs. That means you're truly looking within. You can see that reflection. And you have to tell yourself that I love you. You're enough. Thank you for waking up today. Thank you for coming this far in this journey. Thank you for being powerful. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for being gorgeous and beautiful. Thank you for being this person that radiates joy and happiness and success in people's lives. You got to tell yourself that, and you also have to accept what you're telling yourself. And this is not easy in the beginning because you're going to have this inner dialogue going on. Well, I'm not successful. I'm not beautiful. I'm not loving, because you've been telling yourself that forever. So you got to talk to yourself. We have this thing, people think that people who talk to themselves is crazy. No, we're the sane ones.
Exactly. You're right. I have conversations with myself all the time.
I'm telling you, you have good conversations. You're like, what was that? Yeah. You're right. They like, does he have an earpiece in or something?
Right. Yeah. So this has just been amazing. I am just really enjoying us connecting and the conversation. So for those who are watching that want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
They can go to my website at adrianstarks.net. Or they can go to my email address. So my email address is, actually, you know what? They can go to my website, adrianstarks.net. I'm on Instagram at _AdrianStarks.
Okay.
And they can find me on Facebook, Adrian Starks.
Awesome. And so what final words would you like to share with everybody?
To be easy on yourself. Here we go. Yes, 2020 was a tough year, but it was a year that allowed us to look at ourselves deeply. Some people may not have survived COVID. Some relationships may not have survived, but here is the honest thing. You have the opportunity right now to look at yourself differently. The doors will open again. We will go out into the world again. But when we go out, do you know who you are? When we go out, are you prepared to take on the opportunities that have been waiting for you? Are you willing to give yourself that chance right now? Have you worked on your skills? Have you learned something new? Have you developed new interest? The ball is in your court. The ball has always been in your court. And it's not about what's going on out there. It's about what's going on in your heart and in your mind. To be a courageous creator, you have to operate from the heart. In French, the word courage means heart. You got to operate from this heart. Listen to yourself more. Forgive yourself. Forgive the people around you so that you can move on and grow forward. And I mean by grow, GROW, getting real on winning. Grow forward. It's your time. It's your time. And self-love. Love yourself more. And be kind to yourself. Look at yourself with kind eyes because you are one of a kind. Now go out there, create some magic, make some changes, do some good in the world, show up and show out.
Love that. This has just been awesome. So for those of you that are watching, I encourage you to reach out to Adrian. He's told you all the ways that you can get a hold of him. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments and we'll be sure to get those questions to him so he can answer them. But Adrian, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you, Lachelle, for holding such a wonderful space and platform for people to come on and share their ideas and messages. And I just want to thank you for being America's Supermom, because it takes a lot of courage to be in front of people and to share yourself and to also give people the opportunity to share themselves. Thank you for being a courageous creator. Thank you for changing our world. I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you all for watching. This has been a great episode, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time on our next episode. Bye for now.
Bye for now.